Have you ever thought to yourself, hey, where is my tribe? Where are my people? I know there've got to be a group out there for me somewhere. Well, you're not alone. And I have good news. Your tribe is available. Sometimes there's a process or a season that we need to go through before we're able to connect with them. So the past couple videos, we've been talking about dreams being a gift that keeps on giving. And I've been talking about one specific dream that I had that I call a transition dream. It was helping me through seasons of transition in my life, helping me to have a broader perspective and a hope for what was coming. So we've already talked about how a transition is not an end, it's just a season. We've also talked about embracing the quiet times of transition and using that time to really get grounded and get established for the next season to come. And so now we're going to focus on the end of that dream, and I won't recap it all. You can go back and watch it if you'd like to do so. We'll put the post up so that you can go recap on your own. But in an effort to keep the videos on the shorter side, we'll just move forward. So at the end of this dream that I had, I thought I was all alone. I thought I was going to have to go out and venture out by myself into this dark parking lot in the wee hours of the night. But as I finally made up my mind to go do that, all of a sudden, somebody that I knew had walked in the door, and with them came a group of people. And they weren't visually a group of people that I would have thought that I would have connected with, but I could feel in my belly, these are my people. I could feel the synergy that occurred when they walked in the room. And when they came in, I just had this overwhelming sense of excitement and connection of what was to come. Now, something that I left out in the previous video was that by the time they came in, you know, it's a dream and things happen immediately. All of a sudden there was water in the pool. And when they came in, they got into the pool and they started to swim. And so one thing that a pool can represent is a community, specifically even a spiritual community, a church, a fellowship, a group of people that we connect with on a spiritual level. So when they came in and they got in the pool and they started to swim, I was like, it's on. These are my people. Let's go. Well, previously we talked about how there are quiet times while we're in transition, and we can use those times to get rid of some things in our life that might even be good, but they just are not necessary for us anymore. It's kind of like uncluttering. We can declutter our lives a little bit of excess baggage or excess activities that aren't really necessary. And I believe that's really part of the process that we have to go through before we can really find our tribe, before we can really truly connect with a group of people. Why? When we refer to a group of people as being our tribe, a lot of time it's like we're connecting with them on this level that's deeper than words, that's deeper than a conversation, but it has to do with like our DNA that God has given us. It has to do with a calling that God's given us, with a destiny, with a general makeup that He has designed us with. And so when we find people that have a like DNA or a similar makeup, a similar connection, it just gives us this feeling of community. One, knowing that we're not alone. But the thing is, if we never really go through a season of detox and declutter and getting rid of some extra stuff and really honing in on the image of God that He's placed on the inside of us individually, we would call that our identity, then we won't even know when our people come around because we don't know who we are. And we're probably not even living genuinely at that point because we've committed ourselves to living within a structure that has been given to us, which of course was probably helpful for a season. But when we outgrow that, we can move on into more of an individual identity that God Himself has given to us rather than society or rather than our culture has given to us. So when we're able to get rid of some of that baggage and move past some of those external framework and we become really more genuinely, truly who we are, then when we see our people, we know that they are our tribe. And when they see us, they know that we are part of that tribe. Now I'm using that term, our tribe, you know, I do my little quotation marks because that's one of those trendy words now, but you all know what I mean. You know, it's a group of people and it may not be an immediate thing that happens, but as you begin to share and as you begin to talk and you begin to interact, you start to realize we are of a like spirit. We are of a like mind. And there is just this sense of community that comes about. But before we can move into that and before we can really connect with our people, we do probably need to go through a season of detox. detox, of declutter, of getting rid of some false identity, getting rid of some things that have been placed on us rather than God given to us, to where we can truly and genuinely live out who He is on the inside and who He's designed us uniquely to be. So we have to get in tune even with our own sense of style, with our own sense of humor, with our own sense of fashion, with our own sense of creativity. And we start to unlock the gifts of God and the treasure that He's put on the inside of us. And when we do that, we will connect with people automatically, because those desires and abilities that He's put on the inside of us will guide us into new arenas if we're willing to go. So if you're in a situation and you're saying, I really enjoy the people that I'm with, but I really just don't feel like I fully belong or like I fully fit in, well, that's okay. We probably won't fully fit in any one area or any one group. That's why we have multiple groups and multiple relationships and different arenas that we participate in. But we can find a group, we can find a people that we do connect with more deeply, that are more in line with purpose and that are more in line with divine design for who we are and for who they are. And we can come alongside one another and walk out what God has put in our hearts to do. So I encourage you, if you're in that season where you're thinking to yourself, where is my tribe? I would even say I challenge you and I challenge myself. Begin to live more genuinely. Begin to be honest about some of the desires that you have. Begin to be more honest about the things that you want to do and the things even that you don't want to do, because that will start to hone in and that'll start to bring your life into more of a direct alignment with who you are, rather than trying to live out on this broad path of just keeping everything and everyone happy. Hone in on who you are. Hone in on what God put in your heart. And the more you do that, the more you're even sending out signals to people, because you're living in a way of expression of how God has made you. And He's already put those connections out there. And when we start having the boldness to live them out, those connections will begin to happen. It could be online, it could be in person, it could be on a job, it could be in a place of recreation, it could be in a place of creativity. Whatever it is, make space for what God has put in your heart. Make space and start to live it out. After you've gotten rid of some of that stuff that you don't need, live out what's is business on the inside of you, but everybody you know around you is content to work 9 to 5 for someone else. Guess what? Link up with some other people that are entrepreneurs. Find a tribe of entrepreneurs that you can join with, that you can glean from and move forward in that area. You don't have to cut off the other group of 9 to 5ers. They're still good people. They're still worth being in connection with, but make sure you find those as well that are moving in a direction that you are being led into entrepreneurship. Maybe you really have a musical ear and you just love being engulfed in music and creativity, but maybe you're with a group of people, maybe that they're all about the numbers and they're all about the facts and they're all about the details. Well, don't cut them off, but do find a group that is fully expressive in creativity. Do find some people who are moving in their gifting and in their musical talent and join with them so that you all can help each other move more towards destiny and more towards purpose. If you're hanging out with a group of singles, but you really desire to be married, well, don't cut those singles off. They're still good people, but do join up with some people maybe that are already married, that are already living out that married life, so that you can join with those that are moving in a path of like-mindedness, and you can get in on the flow of what's already manifesting or taking place in their life. Your tribe is out there. Your people are out there, but I really believe that we only truly discover that when we are bold enough to live out who we are in this season, not who we used to be and not who people are used to us being, but who we are right now today, because our life, as we talked about previously, is like the dawning of the day. It gets brighter and brighter. And you notice as the sun rises higher and shines brighter, you begin to see things differently. The yard looks different. The house looks different. You look different. At 3 o'clock when you're standing in the sun, it doesn't look the same at 6 o'clock. So we have to be be willing to embrace those seasons, embrace the changes that are taking place in us, embrace the changes that are taking place in others. No love lost, no harm, no foul. Just broaden your perspective and be willing to live out genuinely who you are and to connect with others who bring that level of convergence and community in your life. Hold on and embrace what you've already had, but do make room, make adjustments for your tribe, because they're out there. And I just want to encourage you in that today. Let's do that together. Let's live boldly. Let's live freely. And let's know that seasons of transition come, but they are just that, seasons. They don't last forever. And while we're there, we can embrace that silence and embrace that solitude and get rid of some things that we no longer need, but also plan and prepare for that new season where we are able to connect with our tribe because we've done the work and we've made the adjustments and we've made room for the new. Thank you so much for joining me today. Your tribe is out there. My tribe is out there. And as we live more genuinely, we will come in line and in connection with them. There's no one group of people that you're going to feel totally connected with. Keep your groups, keep your organizations, keep your friends, but do make room for those that are connected with you in spirit. I encourage you to do so. Thank you so much for joining me. God bless you. We'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.